Welcome, friends, to a very special episode of the Raving Coaches podcast. This is actually not only special content for you, but it's actually turning into a two-part episode because we have so much to share with you. It is the first time that I have opened up the Raving Coaches podcast to hot seat coaching. So today you're going to experience the first of 3 interviews that I did with coaches just like you. Coaches who were struggling with their answer to what do you do? Coaches who were struggling to understand how to explain and encapsulate all the wonderful things that they did down to 2 or 3 sentences. This is such a common problem in the coaching industry. If you've listened to the Raving Coaches podcast for any length of time, you know it's something that I talk about frequently, is that we need to stop introducing ourselves as a coach. And we need to start talking about the things our potential clients actually want to know, actually want to hear. They don't care about you as a coach. And then there's the buzzwords, right? Confidence, empowerment, abundance, transformation, intuition, and all the different certifications. Those have become buzzwords in the industry and in our introduction and in our marketing that I'll tell you right now don't attract your ideal clients to you. So then what do we say? What do we say that will attract those ideal clients? I, a long time ago, learned a 3-part system of 3 problems to be able to identify. And I did an episode on this back a few weeks ago. And it turned out to be an episode I got a ton of feedback on. Like, I loved it. That was very helpful. Thank you very much. And so I thought, what if I could find a few coaches who would be willing to work through that process that I take my coaches through when I work with them on their branding and on their messaging. Go through that process live so that you can hear it and experience it. In addition to that, stay tuned to the end of this episode because I have a juicy, juicy, juicy announcement to be able to make that involves you. I put so much energy into this what do you do statement and into this passion that sometimes, I'm not going to lie, sometimes for me it comes out as irritation that coaches are still saying, I'm a coach that empowers and confident women, the over 40, the next iteration of their lives to be able to create boundaries, and buzzword, 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 buzzword. Here's why I have passion that comes out sometimes like irritation, and I apologize if it does. Because I remember my life before coaching. I didn't know I was going to get choked up about this. I don't know if you can hear it in my voice on the podcast, and I'm sure you can see it in the video here. I remember my life before coaching. I remember even after I first received coaching and the times that I went back and got further coaching, I remember the pain in my life. I remember the weight, the heaviness, the anxiety. I remember feeling like my soul was being crushed. I remember the dualistic desire to expand and grow and the fear of the uncertainty of that. Right now, out there, your ideal clients, in some way, shape, or form, are dealing with something similar. something that is crushing their spirit, a problem that makes them feel less alive. You are the solution. I know it. You know it. And you're like, yeah, I know. But why won't they sign up for my program? Because they don't know yet that you're the solution. Because the words that are coming out of your mouth don't align to the problem they think they have. So we need to change that. This is the first episode of 2 to be able to demonstrate some of those changes, how we apply the 3 problem system to be able to make those changes. And remember, hang till the end here. Big, juicy announcement. Just for you. I'm glad you're here today, friends. In today's episode, you're going to hear me talking to Jessie Pearson Chaney. My deepest gratitudes for Jessie being on the podcast, hopping into the hot seat, being very vulnerable and open about what she does. I'm not going to give you a lot more of an introduction because the first question we're going to ask is, what do you do? So here is what Jessie does directly from her mouth. Enjoy the episode. So Jessie, tell me a little bit more about what you do.
Yeah, I am an emotion code practitioner, and I work with women who have trauma stuck in their body through trapped emotions. We identify what those trapped emotions are and then use the emotion code process to release that energy from their body.
So, in preparation for this interview, I had asked you to think about 3 of your ideal best clients. But as you think about those 3 clients, what are some of the things that are very similar? And it might be demographic or psychographic or the transformation, the problem that they came to you with. What have you noticed already to be the similarities between your 3 best clients?
Yeah, so the first thing that came to mind when I was thinking about that is my ideal client is typically someone who has already done some work on their own. So it's not someone who's just brand new to trauma healing and this might be their first venture. Someone who has done the therapy, some journaling, some Reiki, yoga. They've done something. And typically they find the emotion code because it just doesn't feel like it's enough. There still feels like there is a missing link, or talk therapy has gotten to a point where it's not feeling productive and they still just feel off.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Can you tell me a little bit more about that feel off that's kind of common to your
Mhm.
clients?
Yeah, so I wrote down what one of them had said. It's uncontrollable overwhelm. It's this feeling of overwhelming emotions. Another one said there's like a block to success. All 3 of them, the ones that came to mind, are very ambitious. They have goals in either their career or they're trying to build their own business, and they just feel like they get to a certain point and then they just knock themselves back down.
Mhm. And the trauma that you speak of, right? Um, I've taken to calling it like, right, big T, little t trauma.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's all capital letters
Yeah.
trauma. Is there a is there a common and not to right, not to say that whatever kind of trauma it is,
Hmm.
it has any kind of comparison. Trauma
Right.
is trauma.
Right.
But would you say that there's any kind of commonality there?
Hmm. Yeah, I would say childhood trauma for sure. For these 3 specific clients, there was either a very specific mother issue, or one of them, it was her dad, that she hasn't been able to move on from. But childhood trauma is something that comes up a lot.
So tell me about that deep root transformation or problem slash solution that you are able to specifically provide that's unique to you, not even unique to Emotion Code, but a unique work that you do?
Yeah. So that has been a place I've felt a little bit stuck. So I was really excited to meet with you to help process through that. Sometimes I feel like I get a little lost in the weeds around this one of like, what am I really doing? I know that I'm doing something, but what is it? One thing I do know about myself, though, is that I do have a very intuitive connection that I can make with people. And when I'm hearing them say things and I'm muscle testing for them, I just start to see things come together, or a question will come to mind that I'm like, I don't know what this means. Does this mean anything? And it helps put together pieces. And my favorite moments with my clients are when they're like, oh, I never thought about it that way. And it's like a puzzle piece that slips into place for them. So for me, it seems like it's this self-awareness, that the emotion code brings for sure, because it's raising your awareness around what specific incidents and emotions you've been holding on to. But then working with me specifically, taking another step deeper to start to make connections that maybe they've never made before that help them finally bridge the gap of why am I still acting this way, thinking this way, behaving this way.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. I'm going to drop into the chat here some short form. This is the so when you got your endotype profile as the
Yeah.
interpreter endotype, you also got that little short form graphic that comes with it that just kind of summarizes a couple of things.
Yeah.
And if we look down at the bottom of that, where it talks about your unique business superpower,
Mm,
is that you empower others to stand in their autonomy. Autonomy to me is taking personal responsibility for their choices
mm,
and taking ownership of their space, right? It's like this 3 by 3 by 6-inch space is my space.
mm,
And within this, I am the master of my own domain, right? I have, like, this is my life. And to effectively use their voice. So for an interpreter, that gift can be hearing. And that's what I hear that. P.S. I'm also an interpreter. um, so when you were talking, I can hear like this intuitive connection, seeing things. That is a lot about the gift of listening between the lines
yeah.
almost that we
Yes.
have. Hearing the things, like the things they're not saying is almost as important as the things they are saying.
Yeah.
Knowing, like knowing you're not done yet.
Mhm.
Keep going.
Right.
There's more.
Right.
So we have that gift of not letting them stop speaking. But in that hearing and holding the space for the more, they can finally step into their voice as well. They can say things differently.
Mhm.
So when it comes to this empowering others to stand in their autonomy and use their voice, superpower that you have, um, how would you say that relates to the transformation, that deep inner transformation that you create for your clients?
Yeah. So I think one of the biggest things that came to mind was a lot of times trauma, it makes us really small and it robs us of our autonomy. And so, in doing this work, it is challenging us to take ownership for our life now, because we've spent so many years, decades feeling like a victim, that in doing this work, it's really about saying, yeah, that stuff shouldn't have happened. It's unfair. It sucks. This is crappy that I have to do the work, because that is something that comes up a lot, is a lot of anger that these people did these things to me, and now I'm the one whose life is in shambles and I have to do the work. So I'm putting together this connection now in my brain of it's really about being able to say yes, and the only path forward is that I take responsibility and do something about it now.
Yes. And that's that deep transformative work. When they can actually say, I'm not going to let that define me anymore.
Right.
I'm not going to allow that to make me feel small anymore.
Yeah.
That's brilliant. Brilliant. Here's the semi-bad news for you. You now have that knowledge, and that will now affect and shape and empower you
Yeah.
to do your unique version of coaching much, much better. But it's the root problem for your clients.
Right.
Your clients don't know this is a problem for them yet. It's
Right.
so deep, it's unknown to them.
Yeah.
So we can't speak about any of that in our introductions,
Mhm.
in our initial website copy.
Mhm.
Sometimes there's a place where we can hint a little at it,
Yes.
but by talking directly to it, when our clients don't know it's the problem yet, it goes right over
Mhm.
their head,
Yeah.
and nobody leans in to learn more. And we're like, hey, I know the solution.
Right.
And they're like, for somebody,
Yeah.
because it's so unknown to them.
Yeah.
So what we have to do now that we've identified that root problem, is I want to come all the way up to the surface level problem that
Yeah.
they're experiencing.
Okay. Great.
And you mentioned a little bit of it already. When it comes, so by way of illustrating, when I first started coaching, I coached fitness. I was a fitness coach. My clients needed that empowerment and autonomy. What they wanted though was they wanted to buy another diet, one that really worked this time. So they would come in and they want me to provide them a diet, a workout plan, give them the solution, so that if it didn't work for them, they could say it's your fault, not my fault. And what they needed to do was take personal responsibility for their life, for their choices, for their actions. I couldn't sell that. They didn't know, right? What I sold was weight loss. Very surface level problem. Oh, lose weight. What we did inside was so much deeper and transformational. So that's what we're looking at now, is what are some of the surface level problems. Now, one of the things that you had said was block to success. And I think if you pick up from there with what are the, so think of it like, what are they Google searching at home? What do they think they want to buy? Oh, if I just, with this block to success that I had, if I just buy this, if I just join that, then that's the thing that I need right now. What is the public problem? The thing that they're actually looking to buy.
Yeah. I feel really stuck myself when I think about this. I tend to go so deep that it's hard for me to
Yeah.
do this because I've heard other people talk about this. Um, so we know that they've touched on therapy or they've done like journaling or things like that. Um, I'm not really sure. I'm feeling I'm
Okay.
feeling stuck on
Yeah,
this.
that's okay. That's okay. This is the hard work.
Yeah.
Identifying the surface and then this secondary, like emotional problem. These are the couple of hard things. So from what you had said, and again, think about just those three
Right.
besties, and
Yes.
not all the peoples, but the three besties. You had said they're very highly driven,
Yeah.
and they've gone to therapy, right, but they still have this overwhelming emotion. So maybe we can use intuition to play eye doctor a little here. Is it more this or more that? And just feel in your body, feel in your energy, which one it is more.
Mhm.
Is it more they're looking for solutions to their success problem, achieving the success that they want? Or is it more they're looking for problems to the emotion problem they know they have?
I think the second.
Okay. So, in terms of your clients, where is that emotion problem exploding or showing up most often?
So as soon as you said that, the first thing that came to mind was just hiding, like they're shutting down or they're running from things. They're playing small. Um, when they do see opportunities, they go more into freeze or self-sabotage by not they push the projects down the road.
Okay. Okay. Tell me about what hiding looks like for them.
Mm.
Um, what
So
are the, yep, go ahead.
I was gonna say just truly just not doing the things. They know like, "Oh, I need to print off these pages or I need to rearrange the order of the chapters in my book. I need to actually sit down and write this book," and I'm just not. I'm doing everything but that. Or maybe it's using a substance to help them just numb out and calm down, avoiding household chores and then letting clutter and chaos take over, so then the house becomes a trigger as well, and then I'm so caught up in life that I can't work on what I really wanna be working on.
That's good. There's some really big gold nuggets in there. And right, and I can feel these people because I actually worked with a lot of these same people in my gym.
Yeah.
Which is not surprising, right? Same endotype. Our gifts are going to attract very similar like the endotypes that I attracted back in my gym seem to be, based on what you're describing, similar endotypes to what you're um, attracting.
Yeah.
So I love the clutter and chaos. I think the word hiding is going, I work with the hiders.
Yeah.
And then to be able to describe that a little bit.
Mhm.
I'm not talking about, a rousing game of hide and go seek.
Right.
It's more, um, you have big ambition,
Mhm.
big goals, big dreams that just keep getting pushed further and further out
Yeah.
just because you're not doing the stuff.
Right.
Is there an element of, I think, so for my clients, for them, self-care looked like coming home and hibernating,
Yes.
surrounded by bags of carbohydrates.
Yeah.
Right, they had their animals, they had their couch, they had, after they got done peopling, they kind of cocoon or hibernate on any of their off time.
Yeah.
um so talking about that hiding, so if you were in a couple of sentences thinking about those three best clients
Mhm.
and you had to finish the sentence, I work with the hiders.
Mhm.
Those hiders do what?
Um, it's almost like they hide in plain sight. Like, they're not necessarily hibernating, they're hiding in busyness.
Yeah, busyness. This is great. But never really getting the things done.
Right.
Uh, I'm going to write that down too. I think also, and it might tie into the next statement, but I think there's some gold in also the substance and the avoiding, right? And their house descending into clutter and chaos also. I
Yeah.
think that can be part of this statement.
Yeah.
Um, and it may tie to the next problem, which is the fear-based problem.
Mhm.
So people purchase when their emotions are moved,
Yeah.
right? I purchase expensive concert tickets when I absolutely love the artist that's coming, and that artist has made me feel a way for so long that I just have to go see her in
Right.
concert.
Yeah.
People purchase coaching which many of them see as an addition, like a not necessary product service.
Mhm.
They purchase that when you have touched an emotion for them that nobody else has. When you can identify that emotional experience that they're in or that they want to have in a way that nobody else has been able to say yet.
Yeah.
And so, in terms of that emotional experience, here, let me share screen here. Uh, our clients' fear-based problems normally fall into one of these four groupings, and sometimes it's more than one. But is the fear of misery, permanence, this is how it's going to be forever.
Mhm.
Fear of abandonment, rejection, and isolation. My kid's spouse, friends will leave if I don't, or if I do these things.
Mhm.
Moving too fast or being undeserving. Can this really be happening? Like, can this good thing really be happening to me? When is the other shoe going to drop? Like, when's the bad thing going to come back again?
Mhm.
Or judgment, not being right, doing it wrong. Oh,
Mhm.
my dad always told me I couldn't.
Yeah.
My mom always said, and I know they have some mom and dad stuff there, but there's a difference between judging themselves or feeling judged and like the misery permanence. This is going to be forever. This is just the way it is kind of feeling.
Yeah.
As you're looking at these and thinking about those three best clients, which one do you think is most similar to the
Judgment.
internal? Which one?
Judgment.
Judgment.
For sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Screaming
So
at
what
me.
is that judgment? What's the thought? The thought that keeps them up at 11:30 at night. The thing that's causing them a little bit of the ulcer. That intrusive thought that pops in while they are waiting at the red light thinking about their to-do list for the day. What's that judgment-based thought that pops into their head that they push away just as fast as it can come up?
It's making me a little emotional, but um, it's who do you think you are?
Yep. Okay. Say say more about that from your client's perspective. What is their fear? The fear-based problem that they don't want to talk about.
Yeah. Like you don't like look at where you came from. There's so much shame that you were given from your trauma that you experienced that it's just this idea of who do you think you are to have more than what you were given. Like whatever you have is enough. You just need to be happy. Why aren't you just happy with what you have? Why can't you just
Mm.
accept this?
But it's almost like, and I'm 100% dedicated to being wrong when I suggest things. So if it's not, please don't, right? Please don't agree. The feeling I get is it's almost like for them, like, look at who's trying to be a big girl, having big girl dreams. You know you can't do that. Who do you think you are?
Yeah.
That's not you.
Yeah.
Like,
There's there's that, and then there's also this element of to take responsibility and to take ownership, you also have to, um it's almost like this, like sharing the family secrets comes up a lot because it's childhood trauma. So if you're gonna say that I need to fix things or I need to change things, then it's this, uh, like a betrayal of your family and you were conditioned to stay quiet, to not tell anybody what's going on. We don't talk about these things. And in order to move past it, you have to talk about the things. So
Yeah.
it feeds into like what will people think a little bit as well, or the other shoe's gonna drop because what will happen if I say the things?
Yes. Yes.
But if I go against the family and I'm the one who talks about it, I'm the one that heals about it instead of just keeping it shoved down.
Hmm. And may there be some. So I think you hit on. So if we think about it in terms of levels, right? There's this top level of this surface level problem that they have. Then there's this middle emotion based. I think you're hitting on the emotions that are really butting right up against that root problem.
Yeah.
So they hear those things, and I think the ones you're talking about, they silence very quickly.
Mhm.
Because it touches so close to that root problem that they just can't go into yet.
Right.
I think the sharing secrets may also connect to the substance and the clutter.
Mhm.
Like they're hiding in plain sight. They're very ambitious, but they're never really getting anything done. They numb themselves out, sometimes with a bottle of wine. Their house kind of descends into chaos. And the biggest fear is that somebody's going to find out.
Yep.
That the voice that comes up in their head is, who do you think you are? Something around that, somebody's going to lean forward and go, oh, no, she's talking about me,
Yeah.
right? She's talking about me. So I think we've identified all of those elements. And our last step here is to turn it into a really great answer to what do you do?
Yeah.
Um, when we're putting it all together, couple of things to remember. First of all, we have to see it through the eyes of our clients. Use the words they're using.
Yeah.
Describe it how they're describing. So not using buzzwords or jargon, and not talking about the root problem because they don't even know it's there yet.
Yeah.
The other thing is we need to stop talking about ourselves,
Mm.
because what we want to have happen when we introduce ourselves is we want, right? You're intuitive. I think I can talk, well, you do emotion code, so I can talk energy to you. We want what we say to ring that emotional bell, that intuitive, however they experience intuition, right? For me, it does feel a little bit like a ding that
Mhm.
happens energetically inside me when I hear the thing.
Mhm.
Oh, and it makes them pause.
Yeah.
They don't care. Our name doesn't do that. Our certification doesn't do that. This describing it in their words will do that.
Right.
By the way, during the challenge, if you decide to join me as a VIP, I'm going to encourage you to try out all these different ones, and you're going to have lots more time to be able to play with it and share and get feedback and all the things. So don't feel like this has to be perfect. It is definitely not going to be perfect. We're just going to get a lot closer today. So imagine, and that's where we're going to talk about the opposite of both the public and fear-based problem.
Mhm.
So the public problem, um, let's see, go back. The public problem is around putting all the things in their life they've done, right? They have a block to success.
Mhm.
They have tried all the therapy. They know that. Trying to put together those pieces. Let me get to this. They're hiding in plain sight, and they're never really getting anything done. So, what is the opposite? How would you describe, in your words, the opposite of that or a positive outcome to that?
Like clarity, like knowing what they want and what they're working towards, motivation to actually do the things that they need to be doing instead of all the busy work, self-trust, like, just general
Yeah.
productivity, like, they get to the end of the day and they're like, "I did things that were purposeful and meaningful and moved me closer to what I want today."
Yeah. I see. I think that is the ticket. I think it is painting them a picture like, that book you want to write,
Mhm.
or the business you want to start, or and you can fill in the blanks with a couple other things that are true of your clients.
Yeah.
Imagine actually
Mm.
doing it with ease, taking the action steps, and the action steps being easy, taking those action steps that you've been putting off towards those goals. Not only doing that, and that's where you transition. Not only that, but how do we describe the opposite of their fear problem, which is, who do you think you are? Feeling like they can come out, feeling like they can stop hiding the bottle of wine, the
Clutter.
cluttered house, all of that shame. So
Yeah.
how so and that business, that book, that business you want to start, that book that you've been writing for a long time now, the all those projects in your life that have sat on your to-do list for way too long. Imagine those being done with ease. And not only that, but what would you say next that describes the opposite of the fear?
It's like, just feeling worthy, feeling proud of it, feeling like you can be seen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Almost
Feeling
like they
like
have
you
to work on
deserve
their
it.
yeah, like you deserve it, that you don't have to work on it. You don't have to hide it from certain people because there's a lot of that too of like, "Well, I'm gonna stay
Oh,
over here on this platform or only talk about it in front of these people." And so it becomes this compartmentalized life where it's like a split personality where I'm this person when I'm over here, and I'm this person when I'm over here, and we can't cross. And it's just constant walking on eggshells all the time that the wrong person might see what I'm really about.
yeah. And feeling like you deserve it and can fully share your life publicly. No more hiding. That's what my coaching can help you achieve. Or that's what we do in the coaching program that I'm a part of. Or, like that's the work I do with my clients.
Yeah.
And you can feel free to add because I want it to be in your words. I know I
Yeah.
just said a lot of words and kind of described a little bit of it.
Yeah.
But what I want you to do now is I want you to just take a look at those words that you wrote down and some of that stuff that you wrote down and write down in your words, thinking about the desires of your clients, how you'd say it. And then I'm going to one more time ask you that question, right? What do you do? And you'll have a new answer to be able to start trying on.
Okay, so at the beginning, I felt a little resistance around like naming the thing. I have a hard time, like most, of like really getting too specific.
Mm-hmm.
So since each of my clients were just a little bit different in that, like for one of them, it was starting a new business, one of writing a book, and like taking a step forward in the career. So can I like I don't know what would be the best way to land that with them other than that project. I don't know if that works or if I should say something like that dream or that goal.
Yeah. I would say, like, that big, because landing the next step in their career might not identify as their dream, but
Mhm.
it's like, that big goal
Mhm.
that's been, I don't know. It feels like it's been sucking up a lot of their life,
Yeah.
right? Like that big goal. And if you can give a little quantifying language around,
Yeah.
and so that they go, yeah, I know that one,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah. So I had, that big goal that's been sitting on your to-do list forever, but you're scared to work on it and making excuses to stay busy so you don't have to actually, so you don't ever actually work towards it.
yeah. I think it's like stay busy so that you always have an excuse
Mhm.
for why you're not working towards it. Is that true?
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a great avoidance technique.
Imagine taking action steps towards completing it, and not only that, but feeling like you deserve to be successful and to share it with the world. That's what I help my clients do, or that's what I do with my clients.
Hmm. I would hit on the emotion just a little bit more. So, feeling like you deserve it. Imagine feeling like you deserve it. Oh, is it like this? Is it like feeling like you just imagine feeling like you deserve it so much that nothing can stop you?
Mm.
Nothing can get in your way of having it. Yeah, that might be it.
Mhm.
As I'm feeling into it, right? The question I keep coming back to is like whether they identify, like if you put them on the spot, they might say that they're hiding. Are you hiding? Are you really, really hiding? But I wonder if they, in their conscious brain, on a daily basis, realize that the activities that they're doing are a way for them to hide.
Right.
I
Yeah, I
think
don't.
that might be part of the thing they don't even realize,
Right,
but they know they feel like they don't deserve it.
right.
Is there also an element? Imagine feeling like you deserve it so much that nothing can get in your way, and you end up proving all of those people who said you don't deserve it wrong.
Yeah,
Like, is there, I don't know about your people, but is there a way we can call out to, I see you, I know what they said to you?
right, right. Because then that taps into the deeper stuff of why
Right.
they're feeling this way. Yeah,
And that I think, like, you're right, my mom did say I couldn't deserve it, my
yeah,
dad did hold me back. That's something that would come up in a private and intimate, or like a private friendship conversation,
right,
after somebody brought it up, like, who told you you didn't deserve it? Oh, you're right, it was my mom. But they
right.
don't understand the work that happens underneath to
Yeah,
change it.
yeah,
um so there might be something in there also that helps call them out. Okay, hitting the pause button here for just a second. This is to remind you, what was Jessie's first "what I do" statement. Here it is. So, Jessie, tell me a little bit more about what you do.
yeah. I am an emotion code practitioner, and I work with women who have trauma stuck in their body through trapped emotions. We identify what those trapped emotions are and then use the emotion code process to release that energy from their body.
And now, Jessie, what do you do?
So, that big goal that's been sitting on your to-do list forever, but you're scared of what people may think and you're staying so busy that you always have an excuse for why you're not working towards it. Imagine feeling like not only that you deserve it, but it's safe to share it with the world and proving everyone who told you that you can't do it wrong. That's what I do with my clients.
That's going to ring some bells.
Yeah.
It's because it's focused on them.
Right.
It's focused on what they most want.
Yeah.
right? All we want them to do is after we get done introducing you, right? Huh? And right, whether you put your name at the beginning, you put your name at the end. And then if you follow it up with I'd love to be able to chat more with you about it. Or
Mhm.
if that's you, love to chat.
Yeah.
And what you want is for them sitting in their seat or virtually, right, in that virtual networking meeting, or they read it on social media and they're like, yeah, we should probably talk, right?
Yeah.
They're like, okay, say more about that.
Yeah.
And that's where a discovery call starts and
Right.
a getting to know you, whatever you call your discovery calls.
Yeah.
I just have coffee chats with people.
I like that.
Um, beautiful,
Yeah.
beautiful.
That feels a lot better than where I started.
Nice,
It's still what
nice.
I do. I'm still saying the same thing, but I'm talking to them finally in their language, which I know I have not been doing for forever.
Right, right. We inherently care about what we care about.
Right.
And although they're going to be fascinated by the emotion code at some point and be talking about it with other people, they don't know enough yet
Right.
to care what that is. Awesome.
Yay.
Thank you so much for doing
Yeah.
this with me.
Thank you so much. This was the breath of hope, the reignition that I needed because I just have felt like I'm just waiting just barely of the water, and I know that I have something good to share, and it's just not landing, and that is just so frustrating to know that I can help and
Yeah.
it just something is not clicking.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. It's the whole reason I do the podcast. It's the whole reason I do all this work with the coaches that I do and help them find their messaging and rebrand and do the whole thing. Because I know there are clients out there right now, right? And there's books waiting to be written, and there's businesses waiting to start. And your clients aren't doing it because they haven't met you yet,
Right,
or they don't know, or they have met you and they just don't know you're their help yet.
right. That's
And
my
this
thing is
is
that
going to,
I have a lot of people who have met me. A lot of people know me, and they're just not taking that next step.
yeah. Yep. Awesome. I'm so excited for you, Jessie. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much again.
Yeah, I can't wait for your event. That's just an added bonus to all of this. So the endotype that was so cool because I was like, oh, yep, there it is.
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks for being here.
Thank you so much.
What about that? Can you feel that in you? The difference between her very first, here's what I do, and her walk away statement. Can you feel the connection differently? Yes. Would you like to hop in a hot seat? Would you like to have the opportunity to be able to go through that same process that I just took Jessie through? I bet you would. I bet you would. And so I have created an opportunity for you to do that. I have developed for you a 5-day challenge. It is a 5-day challenge called Stop Saying You're a Coach and Start Telling People What You Actually Do. May 6th through the 10th, each day, 11 a.m., we're going to meet together, live stream. I'm going to take you through really powerfully designed worksheets, one each day, activities for you to be able to reflect on. You have the Facebook group where you're going to be able to come and start practicing, start talking about your statement. And if you are a rock star, like I know you are, and you want you do want some hot seat coaching, we have both the general admission ticket and we have the backstage VIP pass. The backstage VIP pass comes with not only the live stream and the worksheets and the Facebook group, but also an additional 30 minutes after each one of the calls where you can get actual hot seat coaching We will work together on your what I do statement so that you can walk away as confident. You can be surrounded by a group of other coaches who are, we're all in this together, friends. And the referrals that I see coming from this challenge is amazing. So let's do it together. May 6th through the 10th, the Stop Saying You're a Coach Challenge. And the link is in the show notes right now. Join me. Do it for yourself. Now, do it for all those clients that are out there in pain, with anxiety, feeling less alive today than they could if they were working with you. Do it for them. Let's work together on your what I do statement so that you can feel confident. Now, I want you to sign up for it right away. But if you're a little, I don't know. Here's what I want you to do. Do not miss next week's podcast, because next week I get to connect and interview 2 more fantastic guests. Melissa and Jen are going to hop onto the hot seat again, and we're going to work through their what I do statement. So you can see that process, hear that process take place again. Immense gratitude for you, for all the coaches out there doing your work. Keep going. Keep going. Don't let a little thing like a what I do statement, your branding, your marketing, get in the way of doing the work that lights you up and makes you feel like a rock star. Talk to you next week.